What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Rideshare Hub. My name is Greg Wave. Today, what I'm going to be talking about with you guys is 10 ways to basically just increase your earnings. A lot of these ways are a little different, probably not what you would expect, but these are some really good tips. I'm using almost all of these personally. And a lot of these are ways that I'm making consistently 20 to 25 an hour. Talked about that a lot in the past with videos that like your aim should always be to make $20 an hour and even higher on a weekend. I guess that would depend on a lot of people's markets for the most part, obviously. But I think that should be everyone's goal with this is like, hey, let's do well enough with everything we're doing that we make 20 an hour. And I think that's a good reason to drive Uber and Lyft in general. You know, it's like if you do this and it boils down to like 11, 12 bucks an hour, might want to just go get another job then, you know? So I want to give you guys these tips so you guys can possibly increase your earnings, even if it's $1 to $3 per hour. That's still a lot of money. And what I always tell people is think about how so many people will work someplace for like a year or two just to get like a $1 per hour pay raise. And so if you can make some simple changes to give yourselves a $1 to $2 an hour pay raise, like it's worth it. And I think a lot of times as Uber drivers, we don't really think that way because we're always thinking like broader picture. What did we make at the end of the day? And we don't really think things per hourly rate. But I've noticed that when I do think things that way, what it allows me to do is, for one, it allows me to create a schedule that I can stick to. Like, okay, I'm going to work these days because I know if I work these days and I make at least close to 20 an hour, you know, I'll be good on this bill or whatever else is coming up in life. So I think it's really important. I've found myself in the past, like at times almost lackadaisical with Uber and Lyft driving because like it was so spastic and because I wasn't ever sure what I was really going to be making. You know, I would end up usually going out and grinding out 14-hour days on like Friday and Saturday. And so for me, like one thing that really helped me tolerate Uber and Lyft in general, obviously it's not the worst job in the world, but it once you've done it a while, you understand like it's, you know, it gets mentally draining. So the easiest way that I've found to like really stay consistent with the app and make sure you're getting all those hours on both Uber and Lyft, like both platforms, is doing everything you can to try and be making like 20 an hour so that you can depend on it. Because if you can't depend on it, it's not going to do anything that well for your life. So let's jump right into this. The number one way is referrals. And I know some of you are probably like almost borderline annoyed by this being on the list because we see it on the app every day. So it's obviously not some grand wisdom. The reason why I brought it up is because I have met people through driving that I've referred as drivers. And it pretty simply, like just by talking to them, like I'm not gonna lie, like this isn't something that I'm doing like every other day. I'm signing someone up on a referral. It's not all that often, but it happens, you know, here and there. And I mean, it's more guarantees now than bonuses, but still, I mean, I get a few $100 here and there from a driver that will, you know, do the guarantee and come short. And so then him and I are splitting something or whatever. So there's a lot of ways that you can be creative with the referrals. And if you're just talking to people, I mean, how many times have you given a ride where the passenger asked you, how do you like driving for Uber and Lyft? I mean, that's the perfect opportunity to be like, oh yeah, I love it. It gives me the flexibility. And honestly, I make more money than I thought I would. Like that's conversations I have with people. And then I'll usually be like, yeah, you should give it a shot, man. Even just part-time, it's worth it. And that's generally how I've gotten people to just talk to me about the referrals and the possibility of doing it. And if you do get someone, I mean, it can be a good little chunk of money for you. The next way is Upside Gas. I love Upside Gas. It's an incredible app. Basically, the very first time you use it, you're going to get 25 cents off per gallon. And then for every person you refer, you get an additional 1 cent off per gallon. So the power in that is like, if you have the ability to refer 10 to 20 people, you're going to get 10 to 20 cents off per gallon. And if you combine that with your Uber and Lyft fuel rewards, like that's good money, especially if you tracked it and looked at the end of the year, how much money you saved over the span of the year. I've done that with my Lyft rewards before when I was just getting 5 cents off per gallon. And it was a little bit more money at the end of the year than I would have thought. So apps like this, I think, are the most important, because when you're doing something like this consistently, if you're able to shave off a few bucks on something here and there, but you're doing it consistently, it adds up really, really quickly. And it's just a simpler way of feeling like you're making more money doing this. If you were spending less money on gas, that's basically more money you made from Uber in a sense. You see what I'm saying? So GetUpside Gas, I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys can use my referral code and get started with it. It's an incredible app. Next one is Octopus Tablet. Now this is select markets, but it's a super cool tablet they give out. I think it's mostly California drivers and bigger markets right now, but it's going to be expanding. And it's a tablet that has all these games on it, and you can just give it to the customers to play games while they're in the car. I would think that would be a big tip magnet. I haven't done this one yet, but I have buddies like in California that use it, and they say, makes them an extra $100-200 a month sometimes a little bit more. And basically, from what I understand of how it works is they're making money off running ads through the tablets. So in between each game, maybe an ad comes up that the client watches, but really cool concept. I really love the idea of it, and as soon as it's here in Phoenix, I'm definitely going to have one, because again, why would you not do that little extra thing to go the extra mile? One thing I talk about a lot and harp on is that, you've got to be doing these extra things just to try and get that extra $1 tip, because all this stuff adding up is going to be what makes you an extra $3 an hour or whatever it is. So having something like this, I think even just having the option of it, it just makes you look like you're a driver that's really invested in what you do. And I think people like that. I've noticed, especially with a lot of businessmen, like, even though our cars are probably nicer than taxi cabs, there was something a little more professional, if you would, I felt like, about taxi cabs, where it was like, you're not going to get picked up by a guy as young as me more than likely in a cab, And so I've noticed that a lot of businessmen, the older crowd, it seems to me that they like seeing a driver that's really invested and kind of treats it like a career. So I feel like when you're doing these things, it shows people that you're all in, and I think it really does help you make more money on your earnings. So it's definitely something to look into, because again, it's like, why would you not? If you go to their website and you reach out to them and you qualify, they're sending you a tablet for free that is probably going to make you more money. Why would you not look into that? So I left a link for Play Octopus as well. It's another one. If it's in your market, just stupid to not do it. The next one is Cargo Snack Box. This is another just really awesome concept. I have mine ordered. It's going to be as soon as it's in my market, I get it. But Cargo Snack Box is basically what it sounds like, but it's a little box they give you with snacks, candy, all this different stuff in it, and you can make money upselling the products to the customers, Uber and Lyft customers. And they have a way of tracking everything and making sure it's safe, because obviously, like somebody could literally just dip out with all the snacks, right? So I have heard that they have ways of dealing with that. Again, not in my market yet, but this is one that, I would have to imagine if you're a weekend driver and you have this snack box, like imagine all the drunk people that are going to have the munchies, I would charge someone $5 for a candy bar and I wouldn't hesitate. So, I just think that, especially if you're a weekend warrior, this especially is like a lot of potential, because, God, I just, people are always asking. I always hear people saying they're hungry. I just think it's a brilliant thing. The next one I have on the list is just having a really effective side hustle. This is something I'm really passionate about myself, because personally I run my own online business, and Uber is how I get most of my clients, for one. And I'm not even kidding when I say that. I don't do any cold calling or cold emailing for my clients. I just this last weekend signed on a client for my ad agency, someone I prospected from Uber. So what I always tell people is, like, if you can go get a commission only job where you don't have an office to be in, you can do all your sales out of here. So then you're not having the risk of doing a commission only job. I have always loved sales, and I'm just a very bubbly person, so I like talking to people, and naturally I'm good at it. But a lot of people I know that also think they could be really good at sales never really give things a shot, because no one really wants to do a sales job for 13 bucks an hour or 11 bucks an hour. And no one wants to take a commission only job because it's because there's no guarantee. Like, how do you know you're going to make a sale and get your bills paid? So find a really good commission only sales job, do it out of Uber. It's so easy to prospect clients and get new customers out of Uber and Lyft. For me, it's like second nature talking to people about what I do. So it's so easy for me to book people, because if I cold call them, do you think they're giving me the time of the day? Statistically, no, they're not. But there's something that happens when someone gets in your car and they have this like trust level with you, right? So they feel safe with you. And when you're talking to them, you know, they're like, oh man, this is who I can trust. And so like for me, it's a really great way of getting clients, because nobody really trusts internet marketers. There's a lot of bad scam stories, and these guys are remote. You can't meet them. So when I pick someone up and they get to talk to me and hear about what I do, and they've met me and they get to vibe out my personality, it's very, very easy. I mean, I'm not like making 100K signing people up for my business, but I probably get 1 or 2 clients a month from Uber and Lyft, which for me and what I do, my clients are kind of like high priced ones. So I only need to get 1 or 2, you know? So I recommend to people, find something like that. I used to sell solar out of my car, and I would make $1,000 commission on each sale I got. I wasn't getting, again, a crazy amount of them, but I was getting an additional 2 a month from driving Uber and prospecting. So I was making $2,000 from selling solar, and then everything I did with Uber as well. And I mean, it made my life really easy during that time. And that's why I tell people to do it, because like, if you're gonna be driving Uber and Lyft, have something like that you can talk to people about. It's another scenario where it's like, why would you not? You know, why would you not? You never know what could happen. The next way is Firefly Ads. This is a newer one. I don't know the most about Firefly Ads, but a lot of my buddies in different markets had been texting me and telling me they'd been using it. From what I understand, I believe it's just a music carrier, and they run personalized ads as well. So might be a new replacement for your Spotify, your Apple, your Pandora. I would definitely look into it. But yeah, Firefly Ads. So like I said, I really don't know much about that one. Next up is tips, and tips kind of goes along with everything else I said. And the only reason I bring this up, I'm just going to touch on it super quickly, is I just want you guys to have this mindset of doing everything you can to get that extra dollar, because those extra dollars always add up. So what I tell people is just be social, like just talk. I had a situation with a bunch of college kids. They tipped me $10 the other day, and I think we all think the same way about giving college kids rides, but I just had this really awesome conversation with them. I killed it with the aux. They left me a comment saying his aux was Phi, F-Y-Y-E-E-E-E. So doing small things for the right people, it's like you just never know, and those tips are going to add up, and they change your earnings. They really change your earnings and how much you make, like drastically. But the last few things I'm going to say, so surge peak times, I tell people that even if you don't work weekends, like if you go out and you use your surges and your destination trips the right way, you could go out just at 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturday night and give like 3 rides. And sometimes you could probably make an extra 1 to 150 just off those few rides. I know like staying up that late isn't for a lot of people, but if it is, like just doing that alone, not even driving all day Friday and Saturday, just going out working from like 1 to 2:30 and in the right areas, you know, getting in the middle of a surge zone, setting your destination far away, you got a really high chance of booking a really high fare. And it's honestly just worth it to give it a shot. And the last 2 things, so Stride Tax. Stride Tax is just a really easy way to keep up with your miles. Makes tax time a lot easier at the end of the year. Your mileage recording is very, very important. And if you haven't started, you need to start now. Stride Tax is a really good free app for doing that. And the last one I'm going to give you guys is FlightStats. FlightStats is just a really cool app where you can track what time planes are taking off and landing. And this is actually really important because if you get stuck in the airport queue at the wrong time, I mean, I've had days where I was stuck in the airport for like 2 hours, you know, in the airport lot, like waiting for rides. And I should have left, but I kept thinking, oh, one's going to come in, one's going to come in. Now, that was in a much slower market, I will say. But that being said, having an app like that so you can check in on what flights are coming in and landing, and knowing that there's going to be people taking Ubers is really, really important, especially during your weekdays when it's not like the busiest of days in general. So yeah, but I'm going to leave it at that, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it that's going to help you make some more money doing this. As usual, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. You know, we want to help you guys make more money and just be an all-around better rideshare driver with Uber and Lyft. So hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Crush it out there, and I will talk to you all soon.